Okay, so that part works. All right, well, thank you all for coming to my talk today. And I also too, I just want to give credit where credit is due. Thank you so much to Julie Salmon for helping me come up with the title of my talk. So I can't take full credit for this, but I'm really excited to get to share with you all today my vision for ARMIS and some of the cool stuff we've been doing and ways that you can engage with the ARMIS Center. But before I do that, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the team that I have working with me at ARMIS, because I certainly do not work alone, nor could I get anything done if I was working alone. Teamwork makes the dream work. And so I have here on my right, Mariano Ulivari. He's our Layla coordinator of student support of computer science and related fields. I didn't add his full title because it is quite long. But Mariano is our institutional knowledge. He is the longest standing member of the ARMIS Center. He's been working for ARMIS for about 7 years now. He is a true Renaissance man and absolutely brilliant, and helps me in every single way, every single day, and keeping ARMIS Center fun, engaging, and up and running the way it needs to. And then on our right, I do apologize for the blurry image. It's the only one I could find of Jonathan. This was from this summer. He was actually doing the light meter reading for the photography that we were doing. I'm going to talk about here in a second. Jonathan Lujan was hired earlier this year as the Student Supplementary Instruction Coordinator. He's been doing a fantastic job at getting that program up and running and trying to create a more robust and supportive SIL program. But he's just getting started, and I know he's going to be doing a lot of great stuff even moving forward with the SIL program. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge the students that we have working in ARMIS, because ARMIS is a very much a student-led organization. We rely heavily on our student employees to help us get the work done. We have a GA this fall, Arshad. He is helping us with a variety of tasks. Haley Gallegos is our lead SIL, and I've listed here the names of the other students who are serving as student supplementary instructors. And then on my right, we actually have quite a number of our ARMIS technician. Acacia Rodriguez is our lead ARMIS technician and helps us with a variety of tasks that we have to run in ARMIS. And so I changed this year from just a front desk position, because the students who work at ARMIS, they do more than just run the front desk. They help us plan events. They help us, provide customer service to the students, faculty, and staff that come into ARMIS. They tutor students as well. They just do so many different things, and to just call them front desk workers is really not a full view of the work that they actually do for us in ARMIS. And these are just, some of the people that are currently working with us. The pointer now has decided not to work anymore. I'm not sure what's going on. Let me get the battery. This is what's dead.
I've got a backup.
You got a backup? Okay. Sorry, Sean. I can notice the thing. This is but anyway, I just want to take a moment again to acknowledge and thank these people, because ARMIS is very much a team situation, and ARMIS wouldn't function without every single one of these individuals. These students do a fantastic job of working together, problem solving, and making ARMIS a welcoming and wonderful space. And I really want to thank all of them for the hard work that they do every single day for ARMIS. But I wanted to take some time today to start off with sharing with you sort of how I view ARMIS. I know ARMIS has had many directors over the last 15 years. Everybody sort of has a different flavor of the way that they view ARMIS. And I'm assuming that mine is a little bit different than other people's. And so I've really tried in the year that I have been in ARMIS to rebrand ARMIS as STEAM instead of just STEM. And that's because ARMIS is for everyone. And I'm paraphrasing this, which I've actually tried to find out if this is a direct quote taken from somebody else. It might be a sort of paraphrasing of something Albert Einstein once said about science and religion, or some other people saying about something about science and art being bleak and terrifying. But I like science without art is meaningless. and art without science is impossible. And I really, really want Armis to be a place where even if you're not a STEM major or a STEM faculty member, that you feel welcome and included in the things that we're doing. And I also want our STEM faculty and students to also find that space to be very welcoming. Research shows that near-peer mentorship is actually the most effective way that students learn. So just learning from each other. And so all of our STEM majors have to take non-science classes. All of our non-science majors have to take general science requirements and math requirements. And we want these students to be working together to help support each other. And we want to help provide that support. And I also am a big proponent of interdisciplinary collaboration and thinking that diverse minds are the ways we're going to solve problems and create solutions. And I want Armis to be that space for Highlands. And I want all people, regardless of what it is that you do here at the university, to feel welcome. I also want staff to feel welcome. There are definitely these weird sort of veils around staff members, but they are the people who help keep this organization running so that we can all do the things that we want to do. And I want everyone to feel welcome and participating in the things that we do in Armis. And I really want this to be a welcoming and inclusive space. And I really feel like we've made some progress on that over the last year that I have been director, and I hope that we can keep moving forward with that. I really appreciate all of the staff members who have come out and participated in our events. I'm going to talk about that here in a second, but to kind of outline how I view Armis, is I do kind of think of our structures like a big A for Armis. And on the one side, we have our academic support. So we have our SIL, so that stands for Student Supplementary Instruction. And if you're not familiar with the SIL program, this means that we have students who have been chosen by a faculty member to work with them. They attend a course, so they're taking notes. They're working with that faculty member 1 hour each week to find out like what are going to be the most challenging aspects of this course for the students. And then these students work with our SIL coordinator, Jonathan Lujan, to come up with specific curriculum that they use during their sessions to help the students learn that very difficult information in the course so that they can be successful in their STEM classes. Our tutors, so every single Armis Center technician now also serves as a tutor. And we have bookmarks that we're trying to get distributed, and they are available in Armis, and we have everything from forestry to exercise sports science to psychology to biology that our Armis Center technicians are able to tutor students in. These students also, both SILs and tutors, are providing support to our dual credit students enrolled in Robinson High School, West Las Vegas High School, and in Mora. And we have made those schools aware that those students can come in after hours, so from 3:30 to 6:30, and get help with science and math. And I'm actively working with Dr. May and the Writing Center to bring in some of that writing support for those students as well. So we do a lot of academic things. We also offer mentorship and professional development. Professional development didn't quite fit in my graphic there, but we listen to what the students need. We've brought in the Center for Professional Development and Career Readiness to work with the students to write cover letters and resumes, and we want to make sure that they're prepared. Our Camino Student Experience Coordinator is also active in providing students with opportunities for internships, job placement, and we even work with students, for example, to provide them GRE test prep right through one of the grants that we have called STEM. And so we provide a lot of academic support, and every single person, myself included, Mariano, Jonathan, if you walk in the door to Armis with a question, we're going to do our best at all levels to help get your academic questions answered. And if we don't have the answer for you, we will help find the resource to get your question answered. Because we want students to feel successful and confident in their coursework, because I truly believe that every single person is capable of doing well. And we also really embrace a growth mindset at Armis. It's okay to not get something even 10 times, 100 times.
But when that light bulb finally kicks on and you have that eureka moment and you found the recipe and the way that the content makes sense to you, that is what makes learning beautiful. That's what gets me excited. And it's just wonderful to see students having that happen for them when this very difficult idea that they didn't understand it the first 20 ways the professor explained it, but they then understood it when they heard it from a peer, maybe explain it in a different way that they hadn't thought about or gave them perspective. And so we really want that. But just as an important part of that, we also provide non-academic support, right? So we know how important it is, whether you're a STEM major or not, to have belonging and community. And that's especially important for STEM majors, right? So we at ARMIS really focus on holistic student STEAM support, the whole person, right? And we're more than just machines crunching numbers and doing science and like thinking and writing. We also need to take a break and we need to have fun. And we do so many cool, fun things in ARMIS that they're not academic related, but they are just community building, great ways to get together, to build that sense of community and belonging. We have done activities, so we call it our Harness Games. So we challenge HUE peer mentors to little challenges. We've done a nail style baking competition. We've played Beat Sabers on our virtual reality system. We've done intramural type sports. Pretty much any silly game that the students think of that they want to do, we will do. We just like last week, the students made waffles. You know, there was no reason other than they wanted to eat waffles and people came in and ate waffles and it was great, right? There was no academic learning in that, but people had a great time making waffles and we do that regularly. We also host movie nights. So that we just put up whatever people want to watch on the projector. Last year we did a haunted house, and I'm going to talk a little bit about some of those points in a minute in more detail. But again, just things that bring people together. And we have more of those types of events scheduled out for this year, but we really care about that. Give students a break, you know, have a little moment to dance and shake off the daily stress. That's very, very important. But I see that both of these limbs of ARMIS, the glue that holds it all together is faculty and staff, right? And so that is the one thing that I've really been trying to work on since I became director of ARMIS, is to bring back the faculty and staff into ARMIS, because we can't really have that academic support or non-academic support by building that community if we don't have the faculty and staff present. And we want the faculty and staff there, whether that means you're holding some office hours or doing some of your academic advisement and ARMIS, just kind of getting to know the students. Or if you're a staff member who works over in the business office and you're coming over to Coffee Connects, you know, those things are really meaningful. And I've had people say like, oh yeah, well, I didn't even realize that that was who worked over in HR, but because I saw them at Coffee Connect, now I have like a face with a name. And it's no longer this person that you're emailing a complaint to most of the time, but actually a person with feelings and thoughts and interests, right? And it helps build that familiarity. And so this is the part that I'm going to really continue. We have these things and we're going to continue with those, but I really want to bring in that faculty and staff. And I do want to hear from you. How can I make you feel more supported? Because ARMIS is here to serve students, faculty, and staff. We don't exist and we don't have any purpose without all of you all. And we want to do our best for you. So if there's something you would like to see in ARMIS in terms of professional development or even a community event, for example, one of the things that we learned people would like to bring back is our board game. So I've been working with Nayeli and HUE to talk about how we can sort of bring back sort of a board game night on a regular basis so that people can get together and just do that kind of thing. And how we can incorporate that with the existing game night that esports already does with Dr. Ben Villarreal. So how can we create that community that people want? You know, I think it's just the most important thing that we all work together. And COVID really took a hit on us, and then all the subsequent things that we experienced as a community. But the students were always there, sometimes in less numbers, but they were there. But we really did lose the faculty and staff throughout all of these hardships. And I personally know that everybody's plate is ridiculously full, right? And I understand we only have so much capacity, but I also want to take a moment just to acknowledge how important that your presence as a faculty or staff member means when you come in, how much it means to the students when they get to interact with you. and how much it actually even boosts their confidence, increases the likelihood that they might even feel comfortable coming and talk to you if they're having an issue in the course that they're taking or with something else that you might be able to help advise them on. And so that is really important. And so I really want to continue building on this idea as I'm in this role to strengthen our community, because I really think that we have a beautiful community and we work better together. And with that, I want to take a moment and just acknowledge and thank all of the different units who have supported ARMIS over this past year and who continue to support ARMIS to provide the excellent student support that we want to provide for our students. So I hope I haven't forgotten anybody. I was a little bit tired when I made this list. So if you were not on here, please know it's not an intentional thing that I forgot to list you here, your unit or whatever. But HUE, HU Cares, the Writing Center, the Center for Teaching Excellence, the New Mexico Watershed and Forestry Restoration Institute, some of STEM, the library, student success, the game room, outdoor rec, international office, Center for Professional Development and Career Readiness, and our community faculty development. All of these different units, people who work in these units have done incredible work with us over the past year to bring the content, whether that's helping support us in an event, offering to collaborate on an event, providing us with resources, coming to talk to our students. It really just it just keeps going on and on and on. And I want to continue to build on this. So if you want to get involved with ARMIS and you want to collaborate, do not hesitate to reach out to me. I want to hear the ideas that people have, and I want to bring the content that our community wants. Okay, and with that, the very last item, the community, what is the Caminos Faculty Fellows? And so to transition just a little bit, Caminos is the newest grant that ARMIS is running off of. And part of that grant involves incorporating faculty who do their office hours in ARMIS. They work with me and the co-PI, who is Dr. McLaughlin from the STEM Education Department, to bring professional development opportunities to faculty and to get faculty invested and engaged in ARMIS activities. And so serving with us this year, we have Dr. Justine Garcia, who's an assistant professor in biology, and she is serving as one of our faculty fellows, and she's been doing her office hours in ARMIS. And I want to just acknowledge that before I even approached Justine about serving in this role, Justine was already doing her office hours in ARMIS. So she was naturally a person that I wasn't wanting to capture and award for her work that she's already doing. Dr. Demelina Maestra, she's a new assistant professor of curriculum and instruction in the education and School of Education. And I'm excited to work with her, and she will also be serving this year as a Caminos Faculty Fellow. So for those of you who are faculty watching this, please feel free to reach out to these individuals, and you can let them know also what type of professional development would you like to see ARMIS offer for you. How can we better support you? These are definitely great points of contact, and they can help me help you. Also, feel free to come and say hi to them. If you're a student, if you have questions, and it doesn't have to just be about biology or curriculum and instruction. These individuals can help answer a myriad of questions that you may have. They're in ARMIS every week doing their office hours, and they will also be helping with us with planning our data science, which I'll talk about here in just a second. So I just want to take a minute to acknowledge that I didn't get to do this last year, but just sort of a shout out to the previous years. Dr. Brooks in the Department of Psychology and Dr. McLaughlin in the School of Education served as last year's faculty fellows, and they did a great job in supporting us, especially as we were trying to get Caminos up and running and off the ground last year. So I want to take a moment and to share with you the outcomes of our summer bridge program. I hope this, can I play this video? Okay, so do you mind cutting the light? And so this summer was our final STEM-Fast summer bridge program. And I do apologize, I know I'm transitioning from a lot of different things. this morning. But we had 3 amazing students who worked with us, and we had 5 incredible faculty and staff that helped with us. Leon Bustos, the director of HU Cares, served as our environmental psychology instructor. Mariano Ulivari was our photography, drone, media arts and technology guru. We had Eli Gonzalez from Media Arts and Technology also helping with drones and the videography. Eli Gonzalez is the one who he did all the editing for this video. He did just an amazing job, and I can't wait to share this with you. We had Carlos Martinez, who did math lessons with the students every single day. And we had Nicole Kirby, who is a GA in the English department, who did writing with the students every day. And then yours truly, I provided them with the climate science and geology aspect of the work that they did. And I'm really proud of the work that they did in 11 days. It was a very intensive 11 days event, and it culminated in a really wonderful exhibit and showcase that many of you may have already attended and you came out and saw. I actually have their triptychs in the back of the room here, and I'll leave those up for people to check out today, along with the written pieces that the students did. I'm just going to have them off to the side on the wall if you, while you're coming into the talk today, if you want to take a look at them, if you missed out on that this summer, along with some of the data that was collected during that time period. But I'm just going to go ahead and click play on this. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, I know that was pretty heavy, but as a part of the Summer Bridge program, we asked the students, if you want to put the lights back on, you can. We had asked the students to answer the question, what will be the impact of climate change on communities over the next 50 years? And then we gave them a bunch of tools. We gave them 35mm cameras, well, Mariano did that, and taught them how to use them and how to actually take black and white photography. And we took them up to the bird scar and let them take pictures up there in Johnson's Mesa and up behind Hermit's Peak. And that's where Mariano flew the drone to get some of that footage. All the photos, the still photos that you saw there were taken by the Summer Bridge participants. It was actually truly incredible to see the skills they gained in such a short period of time. Even Mariano was completely blown away by how quickly some of them took to the task and really produced some beautiful imagery. I also took them out to the wildlife refuge. You may have recognized some of those images and pictures, and to kind of show them a contrasting landscape that was not burned. And so that they could kind of have an opportunity to explore that as well. And we did a bunch of different things. And at the end of the day, I'm really proud of the work that came out of their efforts. And like I said, again, a very short day. And I don't know what I have to do to get, or maybe I grab the fourth again. Sorry for that. But it was a really cool experience for these students. I just don't seem to get up. There's something about running this video.
Maybe click out the video walked.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, there we go. All right, so I just kind of put a smattering here of some of the photos from that experience. So just like in Armis, where we have our academic things, every single day the students were doing math, again in writing, they were getting curriculum instruction from Mariano or Eli or Leon or myself. But in a mix with that, we also just did some fun things to build community, to break away, to help get our creative flowing. Here you'll see Lily Gonzalez, who is one of our sim participants, with the virtual reality system. We made them play Pictionary, which they had mixed feelings about doing that and having us guess what they drew. We also made them do blindfolded team painting, which was very entertaining to watch. And we based that off of the exquisite corpse sentences that were made earlier in the day with their writing instructor, Nicole Kirby. Even place for the court, super fun. They have like a noun, a verb, and an adverb, an adjective. You pass it around, so you don't know what anybody else is writing, so you make these silly sentences. And so we used that to that. We took them out to Story Lake. We had them build a boat the very first week as like an engineering and team challenge. And so they worked on building a boat, and then they had to test the boat. And so we took it out to Story Lake, and some of our former Armis employees were the willing guinea pigs to test the craft. And they did actually successfully sit on it and paddle it. It didn't make it that far, but they did a really good job, and it really primed their mind for what they did in creating that final product. And we went outside a lot and took pictures. And again, I also just talked to them about the geology and geomorphology and how that intersects with what we were seeing in terms of climate change. Here you can see Mariano just instructing them in some of the, I was actually also there, Eli too, was also working on strengthening some of the photography and video elements. And here's Carlos up in the observatory with them, showing them that and explaining how it worked. And this is Anastasia learning how to control the telescope. But it was a really meaningful experience, even for the instructors, to see the growth of these students and to know that these incoming freshmen who are now here enrolled at NMHU are set up for 6. I actually have Anastasia in my FYE class, and she keeps telling me, she's like, well, I learned that in summer. I'm like, well, you still have to come to class and be in it. Even if you feel like you learned it in Summer Bridge. But it was a really wonderful experience that we had together. And to kind of go into going from the chaos of Summer Bridge right into this fall semester, one of the first things that we did in Armis with a whole host of collaborators from Somos STEM to the Institute and Conservation Science Center, and done like probably 6 or 7 different people who have grants on campus. So we had the PREM, the Iris, the water resources. We had Caminos, we had STEM, we have STEM Fest. I think I already said some of STEM, but we just had a whole host of like every single person who had a grant on campus come together to have the STEM showcase. And it was a really wonderful, well-attended event that we held in our makerspace, and different, the grant funded units as well as certain departments shared information on their programming. Students presented posters, we had pizza, people were able to come and check out all the cool equipment that we have offered in Armis. So that is one of the things that we have that I don't think enough people realize. So faculty out there, we have run compasses, we do have drones, we have calipers, we have binoculars, and we have a whole host of other things, telescopes, MacBooks. We have things that we can help that you can utilize in your classrooms for that, whatever reason that you want, or if you need to borrow something to do some outreach, you can also borrow that. So we had this stuff sitting out here to share with individuals that, hey, if you want to come and borrow or use our equipment, you know, we have a process for that, and just let us know. And we're willing to share that equipment with you. Some people know that, some people don't, so I'm saying it right now, but it was really wonderful to see everybody come together and share their science, and again, just build that community together. There are a lot of opportunities and ways to engage with Armis. So if you're a faculty or staff member or even student that's like, you know, I haven't checked out Armis, or I haven't been in there in 5 years, I highly encourage you to come to Coffee Connect. We have it every single Friday. This semester, we've even been doing sort of a round robin. The Writing Center hosted it at the beginning of the semester. Last week, the library just hosted it for us. And so it's been really kind of nice to even share that community with different spaces here on campus. But you don't have to come from 8 to 10. It's not meant to be a 2-hour long event every single Friday. We know you're busy, but you know, you can even come grab and go, grab a donut, grab a cup of coffee or tea, and just say hello. We appreciate seeing your face and making those connections. I also just want to plug our another event that we have coming up this Friday. So Dr. Ritter and Dr. Schneider have developed an amazing panel of people to come together to discuss nuclear energy policy and science. And that's this Friday from 11 to 1 in the Makerspace in Armis. I highly encourage you to come and check that out. There's going to be an international student potluck. That's a collaboration with HU Cares. RGAs are respectively getting together and putting this on for the international student community. And we really encourage, especially our domestic student faculty, go and check that out. We need to have more cohesion between our international and domestic communities here on campus. We're going to be doing some professional development this year through the Caminos grant. So Dr. May and the Writing Center and Dr. Vin Villarreal and Veronica Black and the CTE are working with me to put together a series of workshops that are going to focus on writing pedagogy. So we, for example, in STEM, we're scientists or engineers or mathematicians. We are not experts at teaching people how to write, but yet we all assign writing, research assignments and papers and essays, and then our students don't do a very good job, and then we're like sad about it. So Dr. May is going to work with how we can do that better, and it'll be open to people from all disciplines, again, not just the STEM. As I mentioned in Armis, we will continue with the STEAM thing. You do not have to be a science or math or any STEM faculty to feel like you can participate in our events. They're open to every single person, but the first one's supposed to be next Friday. Keep an eye out for those dates. We'll be announcing that either later in the month of October or November. We're going to be doing some pumpkin carving, an event that's going to be pretty fun. So keep an eye out for that. We're also going to be hosting a data summit. I know many of us are concerned and want to understand enrollment, retention, graduation, transfer rates. We want to be able to understand those data and come together to really come up with some actionable items using data. And so I'm working with our co-PI and others on the Caminos grant, like our faculty fellows, to pull together all of our institutional data, as well as data from our partnering community college institutions, Santa Fe, Luna, and Taos, to really start to come up with some robust metrics. And so keep an eye out for that. We want faculty and staff participation in that data summit. We'll be letting people know when that is, so you can come, look at the data, share your ideas, and we're going to follow up on that with another professional development. And then last but certainly not least, I want to plug that the Northeast New Mexico Regional Science and Engineering Fair is going to be March 2nd. We want you. I feel like Uncle Sam, you know, but like I'm recruiting you for the science fair, and we are intentionally moving it to the Saturday before midterms, and we're going to be hosting it in the sub here because we want you. Historically, we've done the science fair the Saturday before spring break because it's in the Wilson complex, and then there's basketball conflicts, but then nobody wants to be here because it's spring break and everybody's ready to go on vacation. And the last thing they want to do is give up an entire day to judge or volunteer at the science fair. But it is a massive undertaking that we put on in the Armis Center. I'm actually also the director of that fair, and we're improving many metrics of it. And so I highly encourage, if you're interested in getting involved and we want you to get involved, contact me, contact Mariano, let us know so that we can get you down. We also want student clubs and organizations to be participating in this. So if you're a student and you're listening to this and you're active in an organization, get your organization involved. Setting up for this thing is a huge undertaking. Running it is a huge undertaking, and tear down is a huge undertaking. And me, Mariano, and Jonathan, 3 people cannot do it all. Even with every single student and staff member, it's still really hard to do. So we really want you to be involved. It's a wonderful time to see 6th through 12th grade science, technology, and engineering math projects. These kids are incredible. And the experience, it'll blow your mind and really inspire you, especially if you feel like in these bleak times and you feel like there's no hope for the future. If you come to the science fair, you're going to realize that our future is actually quite bright because there are so many amazing local kids around here. They're thinking of solutions for climate change, to water resources, to energy, to just inventive ideas to improve our lives. And so I really encourage you to get involved and be inspired by the next generation of scientists and engineers. And I again encourage you to get involved with Armis. And with that, I really thank you for your time and attention today. I'm happy to take any questions that you have. And also too, if you want to know why I'm dressed so ridiculous, today is Crazy Hat and Sock Day in Armis. And so that's also too why I don't match and why I'm also wearing like socks with sandals, because you can't see my crazy socks if I'm not wearing sandals. But all this week we're doing Spirit Week. Yesterday was Jammy Day. I don't actually remember off the top of my head what tomorrow is. Check out our Instagram, Armis_HU. Follow us. That's one of the best ways to keep up with our events, to know what's happening on a daily basis in Armis. But don't be shy to come over. Don't be shy to let me know how I can help you, what you would like to see. And I look forward to working with all of you to continue to build a better, more inclusive, equitable, and just community here at New Mexico Highlands. So thank you.
So Jen, Rebecca, I think had to leave, but she's asking, could a student group count the setup for the event as a required community service? And if so, she'd like to.
Honestly, I wouldn't see why not, because to me that is community service for sure. So if a student group wants to come together, and she's talking about the science fair?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 100%. So if there's a community service requirement for your particular club or organization, the science fair 100% in my mind counts as community service. It's service to Armis, it's service to Highlands, it's service to the regional communities. So the fair served the entire Northeast region. And I'm not actually sure how they gerrymander the line to decide who's in the Northeast region, but it is actually quite a large region, all the way going to Los Alamos to Santa Rosa, all the way, I'm pretty sure up to like the border of with Colorado. So the whole Northeast sort of sector of the state. So to me, I agree with that. Are there any other questions or comments or queries that I can answer for you? Thank you. I just am in the middle of moving, so I actually don't have my craziest hat, and I looked very hard this morning on the verge of making myself late. So I just